Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. And I'm excited about having a great co-host and the fam here today. I have my brother Jerry with me. Jerry, I'll kick it over to you. He's my co-host today for this episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories, where we have just come off, or we are still on the mountain up here in Camp Harrison, filming live. And excited about them sitting down and joining me for an episode of just unpacking what all we experienced up here on the mountain. So
Yeah,
what do you guys think about it?
yeah. I mean, we'll get into that, but just like you mentioned, we just wrapped up a father-son retreat, and I actually have two sons here. One is on camera, and one is off camera, and we had a great time. So yeah,
And we start with introductions of who
sure.
all's who. So
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go around the camera.
So since I have the mic,
Yeah.
my name is Jerry Shkavritko, and my son here is. I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm Luke Skavritko.
Oh, and I'm Justin, but I'm Justin.
Nobody knows you. You said it like I'm Justin Moore, Robert Moore. And we had a great time just spending time with our sons, doing activities as we look a mess here, and it truly speaks to like the time we had up here. And I think that outside of the activities, I was telling Dad, outside of the activities, just the bonding, the time that we took to like sit down and like meet our sons where they were at with the activities we did, whether we won or lost.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like both of our sons won a lot of the activities
Oh, yeah.
here. I just realized that, but no, outside of that, it was just a great time. How would you say that the weekend really kind of like helped foster a bond between you and your two sons?
So for me personally, when we just came here, I didn't know what to expect because I have not come to a father-son camp like this before. So I wasn't sure what to expect. And coming in, I was more like, okay, since I don't know what to expect, I'm just going to kind of step back and see what happens, like what's going to happen and how do you get into different activities. And for me, I'm more reserved naturally. So like I'm not like some fathers are like, yeah, let's go play this, do that. I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'll just kind of follow along with whatever other fathers' sons are doing. But I think by the end of the camp, it was you kind of let your guard down a bit and relax and just have fun with your son. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. And what did you guys think about? What did you guys think from a son aspect on how we did as fathers up here? Just what you guys experienced when we're at home and what you guys experienced here.
I'd say I definitely really enjoyed it and just appreciated that like I got more time to spend with my father because at home, it's busy. We just have life to deal with. So to get like this weekend where I can just hang out with him the whole time and do these fun activities, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. Cause I feel like at the house you're always doing something with the podcast, or I got something going on. So, I think it was a good breakaway from the house for us to do something. So yeah.
Okay. That's cool. And I would agree. I would further what Jerry said there, in that we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we've been up here for other events, but I didn't know how this would look, or if my son would feel like this is lame, Dad. I don't want to come up here and do this. Like, what are we gonna do? Because you don't really know what to expect. Sometimes you're hoping that your son sees the value in this, or even appreciates it. Sometimes because I know I work and we do a lot of activities, but it's sometimes he can feel like, yeah, I'm obligated to help my dad with this, or I'm obligated to see him, and we see each other in passing. But no, I feel like this is a great break just to laugh about things. I know me and my son, we were laughing in the cabin last night about how we don't really go to events where other men, they shower in cabins together and they sleep in cabins, and you're in the same space as men. And we were talking about how at the YMCA, normally when you're in the locker with a bunch of men, there's just like, it's like every man for himself. Like there's just some men who just like, yeah, I don't care whether I wear clothes. I'm walking around. It's like, okay, well, there's that. And so that was just something we were laughing about, how we both experienced that. But were there any experiences you guys felt like, okay, well then this is what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about, like, we didn't experience that, or I haven't. But for me, it was more about some of the activities. Like, I didn't push my boys to do this or that. They were like, my younger son was like, I want to go on zip line. And then Luke was like, well, I want to go canoeing. And, at first we thought, well, we can do one or the other kind of a thing, but we ended up doing both, and I think they both had fun doing them. Actually, Luke, you can kind of comment on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, we pushed you to do stuff because you were willing to do anything, but you didn't have like a specific plan. So Nathan and I had to kind of come up with that, and then get you to go zip lining with us. But you didn't end up going rock climbing. But I really enjoyed it. I liked all of it. It was fun, and I'm glad we got to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. What about your experience? What would you say that you felt was like something maybe different from the norm, or did you feel like, it was cool? I know you're one short of words, but what are your thoughts?
Nah, I think it was pretty cool. I think just coming out here in the mountains and seeing the views and stuff like that were nice. The people here were cool too. I got to meet some new people, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed myself down here. I think it was a fun experience to have and be there with you too. So yeah.
So the bigger question is, would you guys come back? Because I know you guys are almost aging out on like events like this, and I know as we get older as dads, sometimes maybe you guys feel like, dad becomes more uncool. But do you guys feel like you could see like the value and like what we provide or what we maybe do as dads, even when it's not so much a push thing, but even if you guys got to bring us along into your world of what you guys want to do?
So I'd definitely say for this like specific trip, I don't know if I'd come back just because it was like a lot more younger children. I loved the activities and everything, and I like the relationship and bonding part. I loved a lot. So I'd think if I were to do more stuff along like this, I'd rather like plan out something with my father instead, and we like set the trip, and we do that on our own. Because I really appreciated the whole like setup for us, but it was definitely catered to people a little younger. And then as you grow older, you want to do different things, and so I definitely probably come back to this maybe once or twice, but I'd like to do something more where I'm planning it and doing it with my father.
Yeah, I agree with what Luke said. It was a lot of kids down here, and I feel like if you could just plan something like with nobody else around, but just me and you, I think it'll probably be better. Now, I'm not saying I want to come back here because it was nice down here, but I would probably do something different.
Okay. So come on, you guys. With that said, now you guys you got me guessing. Like, where would you guys want to do something as fathers, or more importantly, let me kick it over to Jerry. Jerry, what do you feel you would want to do with your son that may not be as organized as a father-son camp, but something that you feel both of your sons would enjoy if you were to take them there as a surprise?
I mean, I don't have anything like specific right now, but I think it would need to be targeted more to their age group. So like Luke mentioned, he really liked some of the activities, or like going canoeing, things like that. He was in the canoe by himself. But when we went to the outpost, the adults, we did other activities, right? Like skeet shooting and bow target kind of shooting, like a little bit, maybe what's considered a little bit more dangerous.
Right.
So I think the older boys would probably enjoy that as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know they enjoyed kind of the target, and Luke won the the bullseye thing or whatever, or helped him win the overall prize. But I think in general, it's just right now the whole camp is kind of young, first one in this area. So I think maybe if it was kind of split up into two parts, maybe like older sons and younger sons, kind of have it separate.
Yeah.
I think that would also help kind of bond with other like they got to know each other and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was good. But if you have a lot of younger kids, then they don't really kind of connect with them
I
as
get
much.
it. Yeah. No, that
know?
makes perfect sense. And that would almost require them to have like two different seasons of two different camps. But that would allow you, if you have two different sons of two different ages, you can come for both and spend time, intimate time and quality time with your son at that age. That makes sense. I like that idea.
But to answer your question, I think for my boys, what I tried in the past is maybe taking some road trips. So going to something that would be of interest to them, visiting that area, spending some time. Like one thing that or I'm remembering from the past that I took the boys way back when they were younger. Up north, there's a museum called Corning Museum of Glass. And you go through that and you kind of see how glass is made, or things that are made out of glass. You see how they make them. And they even have like a little craft area where they drew what they wanted, like on a piece of paper with crayons or whatever. And then the people there made it for them out of glass. So Luke, I think you made was it some kind of bird or something? I don't remember, but
I drew multiple, but under different names because I really wanted to win the entry. And I drew like a narwhal, and they made it into glass, and then we had it up for a little while.
yeah.
That's very cool. So I would say out of this whole weekend too, and one thing I just thought about was like from a spiritual standpoint, I know that God continues. We always talk about how God continues to write our stories, and there's an aspect of realizing that our story plays a huge role in our son's stories and what we're doing and how we're taking time out to spend these opportunities with them. It not only shows them that we love them, that we care, but also that as God continues to write our stories, he has a plan and a purpose for them. And I know me and my son, we talk about this often of like where God is taking him in spite of where he feels what he needs to do and where he needs to take himself. And so that's just a constant journey. It looks almost like the journey I used to be on of like, wow, I can see myself in him and how like I was searching for this. Now he's searching for it. And so how do you feel like that plays on these particular moments where we spend time with each other, but also they see us consistently seeking God, not only on our behalf, but on their behalf?
I'm just trying to connect it to the camp here. I think this place here gives us kind of the groundwork. Like when you have that relationship, the connection within the relationship, then it goes beyond that. Like if you have an open line of communication because you trust one another, because you know that you're not going to get a defensive answer or defensiveness in general, then you can go deeper and ask other questions and kind of continue on into the spiritual, into whatever other areas of life as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That makes so much sense. And I think that the truth is as I tell him all the time, you're watching me, and I can't expect you. I can tell you what to do, but I can't expect you to do anything different than what I'm doing. So if I'm not doing it, then I can't expect you to like do it any differently. And so a lot of times I realize I'm a model for him. And as a model for him, I have to showcase what I'm expecting, but that means that, man, I got to do the hard work now of being that model for him that I want him to be, which plays into these conversations. It plays into these opportunities that we come up here and we spend with them. And so as a father, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure in raising young men?
Definitely. It's like you mentioned, they're watching us, right? So we can tell them, do this. This is the best way to handle your situation right here and now. But they're looking at us and they're looking at something similar, that how did we handle our situation? And if how we handle that situation and how we're telling them to handle their current situation doesn't line up, then our words are kind of, yeah, we said it to them, but they heard it, but they're not going to necessarily internalize and be like, yeah, my dad has great advice and I should follow it, because they're like, well, if he's not following his own advice, why should I follow it? Like, sure,
Sure.
he wants the best for me or whatever, but if he can't handle it or do it, why should I,
sure.
or how can I, or whatever.
For sure. No, that's a good point. So now I got to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think about that? And do you feel like there's a lot of pressure in being the man you believe me and your father want you guys to be, as you guys seek for, and maybe it's approval or validation or encouragement from us? Do you guys feel like there's a lot of pressure in being that man that he sees in you, the man that he sees that, God knows is inside of you and knitted you to be?
Yeah, I feel like there is like a lot of expectation, especially I being a firstborn son. And so I feel like I have to prove myself at times. And I definitely do feel that pressure that you're talking about.
Okay. And what do you normally, and we're here, let me let you speak on that. What about you? How do you feel about the pressure?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. I try not to think about it too much because it's something that I should worry about, but not worry about it. Because I know it's there. I don't know. Like I worry about it, but it's just I try not to worry about it too much.
I got you. So what do you guys in turn do to not maybe worry about it or handle the pressure of it all then?
I'd say just trying to have like an open line of communication with my dad and just understanding like everything he wants for me and how I can be like the son he wants me to be. And also that like I'm also heard in this relationship, and it's not just he's telling me what to do and I have to listen without questioning or thinking about how I am or how I feel.
I know that I have people around me to guide me do stuff like this, especially you. So I mean, it's not like it's not like I'm walking around with like no type of like help with this type of stuff. So you know,
Makes it easier.
yeah.
Okay. I can dig it. Okay. So as we conclude this trip and we kind of look back over all the fun, the pain, the great meals, and just the fellowship that we had, not only with each other, but the covenants we made with you guys to be great fathers, to be better examples, to be what we want to be, but sometimes knowing that we fall short, because I tell my son all the time, this is my first time ever raising a son. like I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm seeking God's help in it all to be the man He wants me to be, the father He wants me to be, even when I fall short in it. What do you guys feel like? Or Jerry, maybe I'll start with you. What do you feel like? Where do you feel like you go from here? As far as, okay, well, like, you had a great experience. They have this once a year, but I don't have to wait till the next year to actually maybe make this intentional time. What do you feel like? Where do you feel like you go from here after this event?
I think for us, and we talked a little bit about it and alluded to it here, even in this conversation, it's about just getting together and identifying the rest of the year, saying, let's plan a trip together and do something, like whatever that trip will be. We don't know right now what it will be, but let's figure out kind of milestones along the year to do things intentionally together. So like taking more of these type of trips, weekends, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think we agree on that. He just said that we definitely want to be intentional about maybe like stepping away and doing things, even if it was, we were saying, man, if we had more time today, we might have even just. I was thinking we could have gone up further up the mountain to go skiing or something like that, because I feel like it's in these activities, whether it's a great time or whether we just fall down the mountain, it's those moments where you're like, hey, like later on in life, hey, you want to go back and fall down the mountain again? like, you know, I know it didn't work out well, but maybe your legs have gotten better, or maybe you'll be better at it next time. But it's in those moments where it's like, man, I had a good time, even though it wasn't as successful. Or, man, I enjoy those times with you. I may not be able to get that from other friends or whatever, but you'll meet me. You'll come out and do these things that others may not do with me.
Yeah, so that's one part where we can intentionally plan some trips or events that we go to together. The other thing is, might be a little bit harder, but maybe finding a project that we can do together. So that project can be a year long, a month long, or whatever it is, type of a project that we can work on, like on a regular basis, weekly or every other week or whatever it is.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. So I'm just curious. Now, men always talk about how it's hard to find men as friends, or it's hard to like find something that men have in common, because we normally do this as like lone wolves. So I want to ask you guys, and I want to give you guys the mic. What was it that made you guys immediately, like, outside of the fact that it was like, okay, wow, it's a bunch of little kids here, and we seem to be the oldest, but what was it that made you guys begin to like find a bond there of like, oh wow, yeah, that's cool, or like, yeah, because I noticed as men, like me and Jerry, we met through this camp. We were actually in a group together, and that's what brought us together. But if I hadn't met Jerry through this camp, I don't know if we would have seen each other on the street and just been like, that's my best bud right there. We're about to go do some things together. So what was it that made you guys find that?
I don't know. Justin just looked chill.
Nah, to be honest, it was just the fact that there was mad kids here, and it was just us, and I was like, well, if it's just us, then we gotta talk, like. But no, that was for it, like.
Really?
So what did y'all have in common then, and just realizing, like, I mean, outside of the age, but was there anything that you guys realized, like, oh wow, yeah, me too?
What do we have in common?
I mean, we talked a bit about fashion and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So,
that's a bit.
yeah, I mean, I've only known Luke for like 2 days though, so
Yeah.
that's, if we talk more, then we'll probably, yeah.
I can dig it. I
Yeah.
can dig it.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so,
but yeah, but yeah,
so it
the-
started as a.
The main reason why is because of just the kids. It was like mad 6 years olds here, so it's like I'm not about to be best buds with a second grader. I just can't.
It's so crazy how, like, years ago, this same guy was like, Dad, why can't I have a brother? Like, I would like a brother. And I gave you like 20 of them this weekend. Like, I even made sure they woke you up. I was like, go wake your big brother up there. And they went and did that. They couldn't wait. And now it's like, yeah, no, I'll pass. Is it just an age thing now? You guys have aged out on wanting a little brother? I mean, you got a little brother. That's true. As he sits over there eating his cereal. So what is it like having a little brother then? For those who are like, for him who's like, oh man, no, I'll pass on that now.
I'm mixed, right? And I'm like split, because it's definitely like, it's not as lonely in the house when you've got him around, but he's also a little version of your whole family. So like, you got all the good and all the bad, really.
Right.
It's up to you to decide if you like that or not.
Right. I could dig it. Well, cool. Well, man, look, honestly, this conversation has been really great. I've enjoyed it. And it helps maybe men who listen understand like the importance of these times, because I know that a lot of people think, and I'm guilty of this, of saying, yeah, but I spend time with my son. And that time that I'm thinking of is like, I come home, I see him, I say, hey, what's up? How was school today? We say things like, okay, wait a minute, why? I didn't like the way he just looked at it. But no, okay, so hold on. We're all guilty of that now. Wait a minute, give him a break. We're all guilty of that. But it's in these times that we make this intentional time to say, okay, I'm going to go further than how was school today? Okay, all right, cool. Did anything interesting happening? Because, yeah, that is the extent of sometimes our interactions at home. But it takes us saying, all right, I know I had some work to do, but like this weekend or today, we're just gonna go out and we're gonna drive somewhere. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And it's making that time because it doesn't always come directly to us. It's not our first thought to just be like, yeah, I don't have anything to do. I mean, like because we wake up every day with a list of things to do, and it's not always given to us by ourselves. So to just say, you know what, I'm gonna put all that stuff to the side today, and I'm gonna go to the mountains for a whole weekend, just to spend time with them, to see what they want to do. It's a lot because I won't lie and say that we don't think about like, shoot, I was supposed to put that up today, or I was supposed to build that for our wives, or I was supposed to go and finish this project for somebody and I need to call them back. But it's saying, I want to make the investment into my child over knowing that that is also an investment and that can wait. And I'm not sure if you agree with me on that because it is tough, like knowing that, man, I could have spent more time, I could have done more. And I don't want to wait till like he's 30 and be like, dang, son, I'm sorry, I could have done more, I could have spent more time. I see enough movies and I see enough of other people saying, man, make sure you spend that time with them. And so we don't want to overlook that. You know, we do love you guys, but love without the actions or the change to say let's do something, it sounds like words. Would you agree? Yeah.
So I had a question. That was a good point, by the way. Question for the boys. What was your favorite thing that you did or felt over this weekend?
I'd definitely say canoeing because it was just me alone in the water and the sky was very, very pretty. And I had my music turned up and I laid down. And it was very peaceful for me. So I enjoyed that the most. And then also being able to bond and talk with you. But canoeing first.
It's probably gonna sound crazy, but
but
jumping on a trampoline, I don't know, I don't know why, but it wasn't even a trampoline. What was it called?
It was like a bounce. It was like a bounce balloon. It was like a big
It was
inflatable balloon.
it was like a big balloon, and I could jump really high. I don't know. It was fun.
I knew you'd say that, and I had
yeah,
fun doing that.
I mean,
like as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, I was high up there too, so I think me, because I'm not really afraid of heights like that. So like when I was up there, it was pretty fun. So yeah, that was probably my favorite time.
All right, so another question for you guys. What's like one thing that you would want out of your dads, out of like Luke, out of me? What would you want from me? Like one thing, if you could think of it, or that's on top of your mind, either for us to do or to act or whatever it is.
Oh, I've got one. I'd just say that I'd like for you to spend more time with me, like outside of these type of trips, in more like a casual, just life type of way, where you take the time to like talk to me about my interests, things I like to do, and kind of be present in that sense, and to cooperate a little bit more sometimes on things that we talk about.
Give in to you?
What? Given?
Give in to what you want?
Well, not exactly, but stop being so stubborn.
Okay.
Dad, I don't really know. Like, what do you think? What do you think you do better on? Because like me personally, I think you're fine. I don't know.
Okay, so I will go ahead and out myself. I think I could do better on not always being like, man, that's whack, man. What kind of music are you listening to? Or like, why do y'all dress that way? That's so weird. And a lot of that is due to the fact that I'm still living in my old experiences of like 90s music, and it's like, that's not music y'all are listening to. Or like, why do y'all dress like that? Why do y'all have hoodies on in 90-degree weather? I don't understand it. But it's insane. You know what? Maybe let me go out with the hoodie and see if I can't understand why they're wearing hoodies. Like maybe meeting you guys where you're at instead of condemning what you do because it doesn't look like what I would do. And I think I am learning to do a better job of that. even if you don't recognize that, because you say I'm doing fine, but trust me, it takes a lot to be like, yeah, I'm gonna put a hoodie on. It's 90 degrees outside just to see what this is like, and while all these kids are at the bus stops with hoodies on at 90-degree weather, like, I don't get it, but I want to get it. I want to understand. Maybe, and that's just an example, but like there's a lot of other ones where it's like I want to understand what they're listening to. I'll have him turn on some of his music sometimes. I'm like, okay, all right. Oh, this is a good one. I asked him what his influencers were while we were going to get something to eat, and he started sharing some of the influencers because I was like, man, I sure hope you're not listening to like guys like Andrew Tate and other people who are telling you what it is to be a man. And he was like, well, these are some of my influencers. And we started like listening or looking at them, and I was like, okay, all right. I like the way he dresses. I don't know if I. So it's seeing what they're looking at. So I'm not just completely thrown off one day when he becomes a version of that, and I'm like, what happened? Like I thought I was a great role model. What happened? Who are you looking at? So
Yeah. So speaking of influencers, for you guys especially, do you ever think of like, oh, I need some advice in this area, and then you go out like online and search for somebody to give you that advice or to hopefully hear it from them? Like what interests you, or how do you decide like, I'll listen to this guy or girl or lady or whoever, but not this person, or I'll listen to them. Like what attracts you to certain authorities, as we would say, or influencers that you would want to listen to them? Like what drives you to listen to certain people and not to others?
I'd say I don't usually like go online to find solutions to my problems. But if we're not for serious problems at least, but if we're talking like dressing or just day-to-day things, the people I'll usually listen to are the people I can find like most relatable to my situation, because I'm not going to listen to someone who's like all high and mighty telling me what to do while they can't even live that themselves. And so I definitely say I listen to people, I gravitate to more people who I relate to more.
Yeah. I go to people who've already experienced something that I'm about to get into. Like, so I mean, I guess I can ask you about some of these, because like most of the things that I'm about to do, you've already done. So it's just like, because I never want to get into something without knowing what's about to happen. So I always ask someone like, what's like with my upperclassmen friends, like what's it like to be like in this situation. So yeah,
what makes you choose what makes you choose people who are, whether it's celebrities or influencers, that whether you choose to follow them or you find them pretty interesting or cool?
I mean, if they're cool, I mean, I just I mean, yeah, I would say if they're cool, then and if I graduate, is that word graduate?
Yeah.
Graduate, yeah. If I graduate towards them, then I'll just watch them. Yeah.
Is do you ever find yourselves thinking about the future and realizing that at your age you don't know the steps to get to the future that you want, and therefore you need to find mentors or other people who can kind of at least guide you to where you want to be?
I'd say, yeah, I am, especially recently, I'm definitely thinking about my future and just where I'm going in life. And for that, I know that the best person to consult is definitely you. And so I talk to you a lot about that and just try to figure it all out.
Okay, I'm scared about the future because I don't know what's there to come. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 10 years. I could be, I could be anywhere. And I guess that's what I'm scared of, because like I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 10 years. And so, I guess we'll see in 10 years. But yeah, I am a little bit scared. I'm kind of scared of the future just because like I don't know what I'm going to do for my life in 10 years. Right? I don't know what I'm going to do to just to I just don't know what to do. That's pretty much it. I don't know what to do.
So, Justin, question for you related to that. So, since you're not quite sure what you want to do in the future, do you find now that you're doing more research and trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do then, but how can I figure out now so that I have a direction to go towards?
So actually, my teacher is trying to help me do that right now. My teacher, my first grade teacher, Mr. Blackett, he keeps telling me like, "Oh, just you should getting this, just you should getting that, or that's what the money is. That's what the money is." And I mean, I thank him for it, but I guess I'm still in my life where I'm trying to find what I like and find something I would do like for my life right now. So that's where I am right now. Just trying to find what I would do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I appreciate that answer, and the only reason I say that is because I recognize that I had the same thing. Like I had people in my life who were always trying to tell me where the money was or where the longevity was. And so a lot of people were directing my life. The problem with that was that a lot of people were directing me in different directions. And so it put a lot of pressure on me because I was listening to it and it sounded like, okay, the census is that you guys all want me to make a lot of money or you want me to be successful. And so they kind of made money and success the same thing. I'm successful if I'm making money. And I've recently told him, I'm like, yeah, listen to me. Like, money is a great tool, but you can make all the money in the world and feel like the most unsuccessful person. And so I think fear is an okay feeling, not knowing what the future is, but also recognize that it's okay to not know what the future is. Like, you shouldn't be so focused on, like, what am I going to do when I'm 18? Like, I think it's great to like be like, I know what I'm going to do today. I know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to finish out today. And it makes life a lot less stressful when you focus on the day you're in instead of like, well, what am I going to do next week? Like, because that creates a lot of anxiety when you're thinking about all the things you have to go through between now and next week.
Yeah. So there's this concept of the journey or the destination. And some people focus on the journey. It's like, it doesn't matter where I'm going as long as I have a great time going,
Right.
then it's all good.
Right.
Versus other people are like, it doesn't matter what I do as long as I reach this goal, no matter how I reach it, that's the point.
Right.
But I think in life, it's both. It's the destination and the journey of how you get. It's a holistic kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when the boys are young right now, it's not expected of them to know, oh, you're going to be a doctor or this or that or whatever in the future.
Sure.
You don't know. Maybe if you really have that kind of in you, you're like, okay, I always wanted to be a doctor, and you go and become a doctor, that's great. I would say that's probably 10% of people who know what they want, and then they become or do what they want. And then everybody else is like us. Like for me, I went through high school, and in our high school, we actually had like different trades that you would rotate through. So at least it gave me an opportunity to see, well, like, well, maybe I like this, maybe I don't like this. But like I went for printing, didn't really like it. I did okay in it. Then I went for computer information systems and things like that, and that was fine. And now I'm in construction. So it's like you're all over the place,
Oh, journey,
it
right.
seems. But there's some common threads all along. So it doesn't mean that you need to know precisely what you want to do in the future, but you want to at least have a direction you're going towards. Otherwise, you will kind of go back and forth between different things. And I think the younger you are, and if you have some kind of guidance in terms of like, know yourself, figure out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what's your personality, what are you kind of naturally inclined to be good at. And then put yourself in a career or opportunities that best utilize your natural skills instead of like for me, being an introvert and not really a great, at least in my eyes, speaker or whatever. Like I don't think I would want to put myself into like some kind of like constantly speaking position. And maybe that's what I'm doing with the
So
podcast.
funny. I was just about to say, that's so funny, Jerry. Aren't you a podcast host?
Okay, maybe bad example.
But no. I think it's a great example because what it shows is that you recognize that like there's certain areas I've never really touched the water. I've never dove into that because of the fear of how I may look as a public speaker or something. So
Yeah.
sometimes we don't realize it, but we subconsciously choose to step into things that we're uncomfortable in, not to be great in it, but just to shed away the fear of like, man, I would never do that.
For me, it was more like getting out of my comfort zone and so on. And not to say introverts can't be great communicators, because a lot of introverts are great public speakers. So it's not even just that one trait equals you not being able to do a whole set of things. That's not it. So like really figuring out yourself and then focusing more on your strengths, and your strengths will multiply the results for you rather than trying to focus on your weaknesses and making them a little bit better. Because if you spend a lot of time improving your weaknesses and not much time improving your strengths, yeah, you will get to a mediocre level. But if you focus more on improving your strengths, you will get to like an expert kind of a level.
For sure.
Faster. So I think my whole point with this is more so like, I think younger people at first don't seek advice and don't seek kind of mentors maybe until later on. Like for me, I'm just kind of speaking from my personal experience. Like looking back, I wish I had mentors earlier in my life that would like speak into my life and kind of give me some directions in terms of what would be best for me. Not just in general terms, oh, I make a lot of money or whatever. Like you said, money, it's not all about money.
Sure.
At the end, we die anyway, so what good is all that money?
Right.
You know, so, but if we do things that benefit others and it gives us like a internal satisfaction and it provides for our family at the same time, I mean, that would be the ideal thing to do.
For sure. And, you know, I was just thinking about it. Like, I know sometimes I get on his nerves when it comes to, like, things we ask for around the house and different things like that. But I recognize that the one thing I feel like, if anything, we're teaching you guys now is, like, discipline. Mm-hmm. We're teaching you guys, like, what it's like to, like, I don't feel like doing that, but I got to go do it. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I don't have to tell you I want you to go be an IT guy or he'd be a construction guy, but we can at least begin to show you the discipline it's going to take to be whatever you're going to be, like even when you don't feel like it. Like, yeah.
And that's a great point. Like earlier on at this age, even before this, it's great to build those base kind of building blocks. Like you
Foundation.
mentioned, discipline, work ethic, all communication skills. Like all of that is something that is needed no matter what you do out there as a career and so on.
For sure.
Like if you have great discipline, great work ethic, and you learn how to communicate well with people, you can pick anything and you're going to be successful in it.
For sure. No, that's so good. That's so true. Well, cool, guys. Well, hey, look, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you joining me, Jerry, Lucas, Justin. I appreciate all of you guys just sitting down for this conversation. I truly believe that, you know, I think that these conversations not only answer questions, but they inspire, they encourage other men to say, you know what, I need to foster that relationship. Like maybe I'm just doing the bare minimum, or maybe I don't really know my child, my son, my daughter like that. And maybe I need to spend more time trying to understand what they like, where they want to go, what they want to do, and what they want from me as a father. And I think that sometimes it takes fathers to realize, yeah, like these are important things that we're doing, trying to understand what you guys like, having these conversations to better understand you guys, and then going out and spending time and having those same conversations in a canoe, or the same conversations on a trampoline or on a mountaintop. So, you know, I appreciate all of you guys sitting down with me. I appreciate you co-hosting this with me. And
thank you.
yeah, this has been a great time. And for anybody who may be interested in like if you're in the Carolina area or the Indiana area, the event that was put on here was through a group called Mission Uprising. You can find it at missionuprising.com. They create these spaces for fathers and their children, daughters and sons, to just come and spend time together. They lay out everything so you don't have to come up with something for the dads who are like, well, I don't even know what to do. It may not be age appropriate for everybody. So I think there's an age out at like a certain age. But even at their age, it still was cool to come and spend time with them. Even at how old are you, Lucas? 15. Okay, my son's 15 too. So even at these ages, even though they may say, hey, look, there was a lot of young kids. We will probably still come back and do this again. At 16, 17. If you
And
guys.
the point of the father-son event like this in camp is really father-son. It's not the other kids
For sure.
or the other father-son
For sure.
as
Good
well.
point.
So I think from that sense, if we take it more like, okay, it's about developing our relationship more, and yes, it just so happens that there are other father-sons
Good point.
out there. I think from that perspective, if we focus on that, it's not about networking or having the kids kind of find. It helps, of course.
Right.
But I think, again, it's more to develop the relationship within the family.
No, that's good. That's good. Well, awesome, guys. Well, I thank you guys for joining us. I thank everybody, but not even anybody. I used to say anybody, but now it's everybody who's listening, and just hopefully you can take that time out to not only invest in yourself, but more importantly, invest into the generation that comes after you, the people who you love, the people who you say you go out and work so hard for, and you provide for, and you care for. It's like, yeah, but they want some other things too. They want your time. They want these spaces. So we appreciate you guys listening. Jerry, make sure you shout out your podcast, man, for all listeners, whether they're your listeners or my listeners. I love to bridge those gaps.
So if you look up my name, Jerry Shkavritko, or if you just spell it Shkavritko, you'll find it wherever podcasts are.
Awesome. And I was a guest on his, so it's a great podcast to listen to for people who are growing in their field of expertise, people who are trying to figure out what leadership looks like in the workplace. I mean, they cover a wide range of topics and just great conversations. I truly enjoyed it. He had some great questions too. He took me down through there, and it was a great conversation. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.